Hi, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Karen Halloran. Welcome to Senior Solutions. Today we have on the show Mimi Brophy from the residents at Vinnin Square in Swampscott and Tara Jalbert from the residents of Riverbend in Ipswich. Welcome to the show today, ladies. I'm so happy you're on.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to see you guys.
You too.
Same here.
Likewise.
Why don't we jump right on in and talk about these communities, which are absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
I've been to both of them, and I can't say enough about them.
Thank you.
So what is the difference from independent, assisted living, and memory care versus staying at home? Because a lot of times people like to stay at home. What is, the benefit?
Well, I'm a self-proclaimed homebody, that's for sure, but being in the communities, it is such a huge difference. The engagement, the socialization, being with your peers is really, really important. And we see that quite often, that folks thrive, and of course the care, the awesome meals that we provide as well.
And I think the other thing too is the older we get, our world gets smaller. And we maybe don't drive, or we don't drive in inclement weather. And so things that we typically look forward to doing, if we're not able to go out because it's snowing, we're not going to that show, or we're not going to that outing that we wanted to do. And by coming to a community, socialization is always there. It's right at your fingertips. It also gives peace of mind, because having independent assisted and memory care, we can take you through all of your stages. So if you're independent, it's more of a social aspect. If you're assisted, it's a care need. And memory care, it's safety and peace of mind.
It just sounds like a cruise ship.
It is. There's a cruise ship on land.
Yes.
So after deciding upon a community, what are some of the questions that somebody should ask about independent, assisted, and memory care?
I think if you're referencing to how do they know where, which neighborhood is going to be best for them. We do send out a medical clearance form to their physician. He or she writes back that they have seen their patient within the last 3 months. These are things they're independent with. These are things they need assistance with, as well as diagnoses and medication. And then our nursing team goes in and will meet with that person and personalize and assess them so that we know whatever needs they have. We're able to set up a care plan specifically for them. And with both of those things, it lets us know where somebody is going to be the safest, where somebody is going to be, the most social, and where they'll have their best day.
I think it's right where they'll thrive. Sometimes it's a question between assisted living or memory care. And you hate to be the little fish in the big sea. You want to be really placed in the best community, where a neighborhood where our residents would thrive.
I think it's wonderful. It's individualized and specific to that person. So like you said, they're not getting lost in the shuffle, because sometimes it can be intimidating.
Sure.
Okay.
So what does a typical day look like at your communities?
There is no typical day, which is wonderful. There's so much variety. Our residents, going back to the engagement, our residents are going out on outings. They're going out on shopping trips. They're, starting the morning with exercise. They're, dining whatever time they'd like to dine, and with whoever they'd like to dine with. So there really is no typical day, which is awesome. It's not cookie cutter.
And I think also, with memory care, there's always that behind the closed door. Once you're there, you're there. And that's not true, especially with our company. We make it a point to, we have a van, and it goes out into the community. And so residents from all of our neighborhoods, independent, assisted, and memory care, they're going out, they're going to outings, they're going to luncheons. Scenic rides, they're going to museums, plays, concerts, all of those different things. And so we try not only to bring that into the community, but also to have folks outside. So it is never the same day every day.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
That's just terrific, getting out and going to different things.
It's a whole new chapter.
Exactly.
It really is.
Exactly. Well, now comes the big question. How does somebody pay to be in the community?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different options. Thankfully, there are some programs like veterans benefits that help the residents and even surviving spouses of veterans pay for their care in our communities. And also, you know, if someone has something like a long-term care insurance policy that they've invested in throughout their life, that can be applied towards their care in our community as well. Ipswich in particular does have a lower income program through the town that allows us to discount 8 apartments in our community with a tax credit as well.
That's wonderful information. Thank you about that.
Sure.
If somebody comes to your community, are they able to stay till end of life?
Yes, so the goal with our company is to take folks through the end of life. We can bring in physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech, VNA, hospice, and palliative care. All of those different services are able to come into our community to help support our resident care associates who provide the care for our current residents, as well as we do have a nursing team there. So there may be times clinically when somebody is safest in a nursing home setting, but I'll ask you, but I think you'd agree that most of our folks do stay through end of life.
Right, it's really important to come up with a solid, safe plan, and sometimes it's preference. You know, sometimes the families say, you know, no matter what it takes, I want my mom to stay right here in her home. And sometimes some involvement with families. It could be companion services or, you know, a one-on-one type homemade solution as well. So there's lots of different options, which is nice.
That's great, because I know a lot of people want to stay until the end of life.
Of course.
What
Nobody likes to
I
move.
know you touched upon this, but what types of apartments do you have? Tara, I don't, you know, I really don't think you explained that, so if you can.
Sure.
That
Definitely.
would be great.
So the floor plans vary between studios, 1-bedrooms, and 2-bedrooms in our independent living and assisted living. And there's different sizes within those as well, square footage wise, location wise. And also in our memory care, we have either private studios or companion suites.
So same, but different settings,
Yes.
really. I mean, I know you're up in the country
We
and
are.
you're more suburban.
Yes.
So it's really up to the, you know, person where they want to be.
Absolutely. So the company has 38 properties in 7 different states. So it wherever that community is being built, we take on kind of the feel of that community. So in Ipswich,
definitely.
it's more farm, and we're a little bit in Swampscott more suburban. But if you look at some of our sister communities that are in the city, they're more urban. So it all depends upon what your preference is and where you want to be.
That's great, because everybody's different and everybody has
Absolutely.
different desires to be in different communities.
Yeah.
What sets you apart from other assisted livings? I would tend to agree.
Here you are. Go ahead, ma'am.
A lot of different things. We do have, you know, our anytime dining, our personalized care plans, so that each person, we could all have the same needs, but our care plans could be very different. Because are we cues and reminders? Am I a partial assist for something? Are you a full assist for something? And so in doing that, that is one of the things that sets us apart. We also have our engagement. We have our React Neuro program through Dr. Rudy Tanzi, who is the doctor that discovered the first Alzheimer's gene. And so, and that goes into our Hold Shield program, which we can certainly talk about, and it's also on our website. And then Amber Evans, who is our Vice President of Memory Care and Engagement, and she was just recently elected the Vice Chair for the NIDE, which is National Institute of Dementia Education, the Excellence Council. So she is contributing to the different policies and education throughout the country on dementia.
That's
And she
incredible.
was awarded through the Alzheimer's Association an award as well for the company. So she's unbelievable. We're very lucky to have her. And one thing, just to get back to the engagement as well, is our residents, it's very basic, but they fill out a profile before they move into our community, which talks about not just social likes and dislikes, but what their schedule is like, their culinary likes and dislikes, even if something is upsetting that we shouldn't be bringing up. So all of our associates get to know that resident really well before they move into the community. So we can say, you know, Karen, I know you don't like bingo. Forget that, scratch that, but you know, we're going out to the restaurant trips or the theater trips or you know, the morning exercise. So we can really customize each resident's experience in our community.
And that is so important when it comes to memory care, right? So for example, I go by Mimi. My real name is Mary Elizabeth. And so if I am somebody that's having a moment in memory care and they are trying to redirect me and they're saying, Mary Elizabeth, I don't answer to it now.
Right.
I'm not going to answer to it then.
Right.
So having that if you call Mimi, you know, bringing me, that's going to kind of bring me back to the moment, or knowing where I grew up, those different things. So when our resident care associates are able to bring that up, that kind of grounds that person and can really help with redirection and also people settling in when they first come to the community.
Right.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely. So we talked about LCB as a company.
Yes.
Why? What's the best thing that you like working for LCB?
It's by far the best company I've ever worked for in senior living, and I've worked for a few in different levels, home care as well as in communities. LCB truly cares about their associates as much as they do their residents. It is always a customized experience. Even our prospects that come in to visit notice that, you know, there's lots of little extra touches. They've been incredible with just, you know, benefits and those things, of course, as well, and very supportive through, you know, this horrible time with COVID as well. So overall, I mean, it's just start to finish very transparent, great communication, you know, can really be in contact with our directors.
Yeah, and to touch on just COVID briefly, I have a 20-year medical background, which is what I did prior to getting into sales and marketing. And the way that they handled COVID and the transparency and not just with the associates, but most importantly with the residents and family members was nothing I've ever seen before. It was incredible. But you know, what I love about the company is pretty much everything that you said, just the way that they value their associates, also the people that live here. We're very fortunate. We get to work in somebody's home every day. We have the privilege to go in to someone's home, you know, and meet these beautiful people. And the company just really fosters such a positive environment for everybody. And it makes it a pleasure. It's not a job.
Right.
You know, you go in, you love what you do. You look at the clock and it's like 7 o'clock.
Right.
You're like, wait, I was supposed to have left all these hours ago. And you love what you do, you stay.
Yeah, they say you never work a day in your life if you love what you do.
Yeah, that's
I feel
true.
like we touch a lot on culture, which is very important. I remember my very first day, almost 4 years ago, I had a meeting in our corporate office where we sat with the top leaders of our company who just wanted to meet the new associates and talk about culture. I was so impressed from day one.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
What is the typical resident at your communities? I think there's no typical, right?
There isn't. So we have every race, every religion, every age group. We have every ability, capability. It's
Professional backgrounds.
professional background, monetary background.
Yep.
It's just that person that is looking for a community that is safe, a community that is vibrant, a community where there are peers there. So, you know, you can come in and have a certain background, you are going to absolutely make friends. Because again, there's so many different types of
and we make
folks
sure
that
of
are
that.
there.
You know, orientation,
yes.
there's new resident
Yeah.
orientation, so
Yeah.
we do a little hand holding to make sure the resident truly is, you know, acclimated and happy and has some buddies.
Yeah, and it goes back to the preference form that they fill out, right? What are their likes and dislikes? What are the things that they used to do but can't really do anymore for whatever that reason might be? And so taking that profile and then matching them with somebody that already lives in our community, that's already been through that induction service, if you will, and then matching them up is huge.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. I've seen some of the most beautiful relationships, because
sure.
normally, I touched on it a little bit earlier, your world gets really small, right? And so some of the most beautiful friendships I've seen later in life have been formed
Yep.
I
in the
love that.
community.
I love that. So if somebody would like to get in touch with you, how would they do that? We're going to flash it at the end,
Okay.
but if you could just tell everybody how they could get in touch with you.
Sure, my name is Mimi Brophy. My phone number is 781-780-0533.
And I'm Tara Jalbert, from the residence at Riverbend in Ipswich, and my direct office is 978-312-8023.
Great. And now I'd like to end the show with 3 questions. So the first question is, tell us a fun fact about you.
Oh, okay. Well, I think everybody already knows this, but I am a die-hard dance mom. I have a beautiful 16-year-old daughter who's been dancing for 13 years this year, and she competes, and we are all in. We're a dance family, so we travel and watch her dance, which is my happiest moment.
That's great. I used to be a dance mom
Oh.
many years ago.
Awesome. It's very
Many?
dedicated.
It is.
So for me, I'm a vegetarian.
Oh.
I've been a vegetarian since I was 7. I'm not 7 anymore. But I am the only one, with the exception of my niece, who turned vegetarian at 5. Everybody else in our family, you know, loves the meat, the fish, the chicken. It's just a preference.
Yeah. To each his own.
There you go, right?
That's great. That's interesting, though, at 7
I love to
years
cook
old.
it. I just don't
Right.
like the taste
eat
of it.
Yeah.
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 To each his own.
Yeah.
Another thing is we love pets on this show. Do you have any animals at home?
I do. And he's my baby, behind the daughter, of course. So my husband and I rescued a pit bull mix from Texas, from Houston, Texas, who he's this big lug of a goofball. He's black and white, and his name is Reed, and he was set to be euthanized. He was at Harris County Animal Shelter, and just because of space, he was going to be euthanized. So literally was saved right before that, thank God, and transported to us, and we've picked him up, and it's been about 5 years that we've had him, and he's the biggest baby.
Amazing.
He's the best dog.
Awesome.
Yes, he's awesome.
Do you have any pets,
I
Mimi?
don't have any pets currently. I did grow up with animals. Dogs were always around in our family, although I do have some nieces and nephews now that have dogs. My mom and dad also have a little Shih Tzu. So there's Preston, there's Asher, and then there's Finn.
That's excellent. Last question is, do you have any plans to go leaf peeping or something traveling this fall?
I love where we live. I mean, I feel like you can go to the beach, you can do the leaf peeping, so most definitely try to get that in with the busy dance schedule, but yes. Yes.
And so, same here. I grew up in Salem. As we know, coming up on Salem's finest month.
Right.
So I will definitely do some leaf peeping, but I'll also be doing some haunted happenings in Salem.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, I'd just like to thank you once again for coming on the show. You're both a wealth of knowledge. You know I say that a lot, but it's true. I have learned a lot today, and I think people at home have too. So
Awesome.
thanks so much
Thanks
for coming
so much
on.
for having us.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And thank you so much for tuning in today. Until next time, have a great day.